Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Berea City Council meeting, Tuesday, January 7th, 2025. I have to get used to that, 2025. I'll call the meeting to order. Madam Clerk, please let the record reflect that a quorum is present. This time I call on Councilmember Cora-Jane Wilson to lead us in the invocation and Pledge of Allegiance. Cora-Jane.
If you want to, stand with me. Heavenly Father, we come before you in Jesus' name and ask you to be with us, to guide us, to help us, Lord, make wise decisions, sound decisions for the betterment of our city. Help us, Lord, to do what you would have us to do. In this new year, help everything to be new. And in Jesus' name, we give you all praise. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Cora-Jane. Next item on the agenda is approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve? By Jerry Little. Is there a second? By Katie Startzman. Any discussion on the agenda? Motion to approve. Seeing none, I'll request a voice vote. All in favor of the motion to approve the agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
And all opposed, please say no. Motion carries and the agenda is approved. Next item on the agenda is approval of the minutes from our December 17th, 2024 meeting. Is there a motion to approve? By John Payne with the second, Steve Cottle. Is there any discussion, corrections, or adjustments that are needed? Seeing none, I'll request a voice vote. All in favor of the motion to approve the minutes of December 17th, please say aye.
Aye.
And all opposed, please say no. Motion carries and the minutes are approved. The next item on the agenda is a proclamation, and this is for Roller Skating Month in Berea. I'm happy to report to you before I do this that I was able to attend the 65th anniversary of our Club Arena skating rink here in Berea. George Wyatt and Doris Wyatt, the owners, are here to accept the proclamation, which I'll read in just a minute. But I wanted to share a little bit with you about what I saw. I saw people that were my age that were going there when they were kids, with their kids and grandkids having fun. I saw George Wyatt that could probably outskate anybody in the arena, having the best time of his life. And George and Doris put on a big party. I think there was no cost for admission. George, maybe you can talk a little bit more about that, or Doris. No cost for admission, free popcorn and pizza, I think, and drinks, which really made a big deal. But it was nice to be in the club arena that I went to as a kid and see that that's still growing strong and serving families in Berea. So with that, this is Roller Skating 65th Anniversary Club Arena Berea, whereas Club Arena Skating Rink was founded in 1960 by Charlie and Polly Wyatt, and whereas Club Arena is now owned and managed by Doris and George Wyatt and has been providing recreation and entertainment for Berea families for 65 years. And whereas Club Arena Skating Rink provides safe, supervised, and fun social activities for kids, teens, and families. And whereas roller skating is a great low-impact aerobic exercise that promotes good core balance, heart health, and overall well-being. And whereas over 40 million persons in the United States enjoy roller skating. Now, therefore, I, Bruce Fraley, Mayor of the City of Berea, Kentucky, by virtue of the authority vested in me, do hereby recognize Club Arena's 65 years of continuous operation in Berea and proclaim January 2025 as Roller Skating Month in Berea. And I encourage everyone to get out, get active, and roller skate. So, George and Doris, if you'd like to come up, y'all can give them a hand if you like.
Mayor Fraley, I want to thank you and the council for recognizing us. We feel humbled and honored to get this proclamation. We have tried for 65 years to provide family-oriented, wholesome entertainment for not just the kids, but us big kids as well down there. And we hope we have done that. We plan to do that for many years to come. And again, thank you all for your support and this proclamation. Thank you.
Thank you, George and Doris, and keep up the good work.
Well, we may, he said I made him feel old, but we may grow older, but not up, is my general's comment.
Thank you, George.
George, could you tell us a little bit about the improvements you guys have made in the last year? Because I think our community should really hear it.
We did do a major upgrade this summer, as you indicated. The floor is a maple floor from 1960, and it had never been completely sanded, refinished, or anything. We had done some to it, but not a complete renovation. So this summer, we completely sanded the floor down to the original wood, put a new finish on it, the new lines and everything were repainted. We put a logo in the center front that my oldest granddaughter did when she was a sophomore at high school for a graphic arts project, and we're very, very proud of that. She's a senior at Purdue this year, be graduating this spring. So we had her logo there at the celebration. Our other granddaughter did the newest logo that we did, and we had them on t-shirts and some things there that day. And then my grandson, we only got 3 grandkids, so my grandson Jack, we found a Lego roller skate, and so he put that together, and that was the cake topper for the celebration. So we involved all of our family and everything in the celebration, and it was, I'm like you, Mayor, I thought it went really well. We had somewhere near 135 skaters that day, and around 175 or more people stopped by and said hi and all that. So it was very gratifying. And again, thank you all.
Thank you, George. Thank you, Doris. Appreciate y'all being here. The next item on the agenda is street acceptance, and this is for Fincastle Subdivision Phase 1. Rose? I was looking for Amanda.
Yes.
Rose has this one.
Amanda has no power still, so she asked me to stand in for her. She's dealing with some things at home. So I'm going to read her memo because, unlike her, I do not understand this to the depth that she does. So hopefully, if you have any questions, I'll do my best to answer them. So, the Codes and Planning and Public Works inspected the Fincastle Subdivision Phase 1, consisting of approximately 3,440 linear feet of road at Patriot Trail for acceptance into the city maintenance. All infrastructure is complete and deficiencies have been corrected. We are requesting acceptance by City Council for the city right-of-way, including curbs, gutters, roads, sidewalks, stormwater piping, and infrastructure, excluding any retention or detention ponds. The detention pond, as described as Lot 51 on the recorded final plat, to be maintained by the owner developer, Les Stewart, by a recorded stormwater maintenance agreement. Maintenance agreement will be transferred to any landowner's successors. The assets to the city, 3,440 linear feet of street from back of sidewalk to back of sidewalk on Patriot Trail. Total asset to the city is $1,376,000. So the motion would be to accept the 3,440 linear feet of street right-of-way of Patriot Trail in Fincastle Subdivision. And the city will accept all infrastructure in the public right-of-way from back of sidewalk to back of sidewalk for a total asset of $1,376,000, if anyone wants to use that. Okay.
Motion by Steve Cottle to accept the recommendation. Is there a second? By Cora Jane Wilson. Is there any discussion on the motion to accept this into the city maintenance as recommended? Any discussion? Seeing none, I'll request a voice vote. All in favor of the motion to accept this, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say no. Motion carries, and Rose, you did a good job. Amanda would be proud. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is resolution number 01-2025, Ellipse Street Shared Use Path. Mr. Gilbert.
Whereas the city of Berea has determined that Berea's trail system is in need of connectors, and whereas the city has planned to connect the Berea College campus with the US 25 commercial district by the construction of 2,200 feet of 10-foot wide shared use path on the north side of Ellipse Street. And whereas on December the 20th, 2019, the Kentucky Department of Transportation entered into an agreement whereby the cabinet agreed to reimburse the city up to $279,950 in state and federal funds for the completion of the project. And whereas the intervention of the COVID pandemic has delayed the project and the cost of completion of the project has increased exponentially, and whereas the city and the cabinet desire to amend the agreement to reflect the increased cost of completing the project, whereas the city desires to accept the funding on the same terms and conditions as set out in the amended agreement between the city and the cabinet. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Berea, Kentucky as follows. 1, that the City of Berea does hereby ratify and adopt the statements of representations, warranties, covenants, and agreements contained in the amended agreement attached hereto, and does hereby accept the funds provided by said amended agreement, and by such acceptance agrees to all the terms and conditions contained therein. Section 2, that the mayor of the city of Berea, Kentucky is hereby authorized, directed, and empowered to execute the amended agreement and all other necessary documents or agreements, and to otherwise act on behalf of the city of Berea to implement the amended agreement. Section 3, the city of Berea agrees to and does hereby ratify and adopt all statements, representations, warranties, covenants, and agreements contained in the amended agreement. Section 4, this resolution shall take effect immediately upon passage.
Is there a motion to approve and adopt resolution number 01-2025?
So moved.
Teresa Sanders with a second by John Payne. Is there any discussion on the motion to approve and adopt resolution number 01-2025?
Mayor,
Yes.
is there an amended agreement attached already, or is this up in the air until we know what the numbers will be?
I think there's one already, Rose. I'll defer to you on that.
I think we have to pass the resolution and then send it back to them, and they give us the agreement.
And do we know what the new figure is, or?
Off the top of my head, I don't remember.
I think it's 80-20 is the percentage.
It's
right on.
the split is yes.
The split's
80-20.
80-20,
Mhm.
okay,
Yeah, so
all right, thanks.
that they pay 80, we pay 20.
We pay 20,
Yeah,
okay,
we had to add the construction oversight to this
Yeah.
one.
thank you.
John?
Just for clarity, what is the starting and ending point on Ellipse Street for this particular shared use section?
I'll take a stab at that one, and Rose can correct me if I'm wrong, but it would be the northeast corner of the intersection of Ellipse and Walnut Meadow Road with the intersection of Ellipse Street with Laurel Drive. Any other discussion?
That was pretty good.
Is that all right? Okay. Any other discussion?
I thought it went on over 25. No, it ends right there behind the dry cleaners.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion to approve and adopt resolution number 01-2025, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say no. The motion carries and resolution number 01-2025 is approved. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is department head reports, and I'm pleased to welcome back Miss Donna Angel, the Director of Business Development, who is back from vacation and has a lot to share with us. Donna, you have the floor. Welcome.
Sorry, Ronnie, it's me tonight. Okay, short, keep it short. Thank you, Mayor, Council, and City Administrator. It's always a pleasure to give a report, and Ronnie knows I always talk too much, so I apologize in advance for everything there. The mayor did the State of City address in or mid-December maybe, so he covered a lot of great things, so I'm not going to cover a lot of those things again tonight. So I wanted to start off with kinda, since this is the new year and we finished, just doing a review of what we accomplished last year and so forth. So I wanted to start with 2024 with our small businesses. The businesses that I worked with, we had 44 new businesses. We had 6 closures. We had 44 to open, 6 closures, and 2 of the 6 closures were immediately opened back up with new ownership, and that was Wildflowers and Weston Glass. So we welcomed 2 new owners into that, and very glad that we got our glass floors back in Old Town as well, and wonderful work they're doing. Through the Business Development Office, we offered 9 small business classes to the community last year, which was wonderful and well received. We offered the grant writing, immigration law, CPA tax services, financial one-on-one credit classes, budget preparation, 3-year business plan preparations for bank presentations for funding for the small businesses, which is becoming a lot looser and more open to that. So the more we prepare the small businesses how to go to the bank, that is working really well. Preventive health awareness for the small business owners, e-commerce, and a small business owner succession plan. So those were all good classes, and I feel good that we were complimentary-wise able to do those free to the community, and we will continue to do those in the upcoming year as well. I do want to, I made a note here just to talk about our corporate chain businesses. We always are thrilled with the small businesses that open in our town, but we also need the larger corporate business, the mid-sized corporate and the small corporate businesses. The corporate businesses do a lot for us. I hear, maybe not negative, but comments that we don't need them. Well, we do need them. They're a good balance, and I think overall in our city we do an outstanding job of balancing corporate with small and industry businesses. But one of the things that I just wanted to remind everyone of, the corporate businesses that come here, we pretty much get them for 20 years at least. So that is quite an accomplishment. And to their advantage and to our city's advantage and our small business owner advantages, we also get them to give grant funding to our small businesses in many different ways. When I'll use T-Mobile, they gave 3 different grants last year to our community, which was absolutely wonderful, and Parks and Rec, our own city department, was one that received grant funding for that. They came and visited maybe 3 or 4 different times and just really did feel good about Berea. And they still are just doing an outstanding business, and those kind of people that give back to our community through corporates is what we're seeing more and more of, along with KFC, whom is also a very good corporate giver into our community. So we don't want to forget that piece and be recognized for our small businesses that do participate and give funding back into the community. For 2024, we had 9 food-related openings. Someone made the comment that we had none, so I just wanted to make sure that I called those out so that we can all make sure that we're paying tribute to these restaurants and dining with them as well. But Nuevo Vallarta Mexican Restaurant at Exit 77 opened, Giovanni's Pizza at Exit 77, Bert's Speak Cheesy in Old Town, Donna Marie's Tamales, College Square, Bluegrass Kitchen reached its full year at the end of the year, Churchill's Cafe at Churchill's, the donut shop at Boone Mini Mall, which everybody wanted a donut shop, so I hope we're out there supporting that. Starbucks opened, and then we had the Mexican grocery market that opened down on Mount Vernon Road. So we did have some really nice things that opened, and I do hope that we will continue to support and share with those small businesses. As I mentioned, Mayor Faley did a great job in December talking about our industry and our industrial park and our regionalism, efforts that we have accomplished and so forth. So I'm just going to touch a little bit on some of the industry updates. The employment, someone asked me really, how many employees do we add in our industrial park last year? So with the records that I keep, we've added 500, almost 500 employees to the industrial park, which is really quite an accomplishment. And those weren't major needs or, you know, people really searching for those. They were just things that kept adding product line to or services needed within the new product line. So that was really good for the city as well as our industry, that we could find talent and were able to support that need right here. Vitro, you will see work going on there very quickly come February or March, but that is also going to be doing an expansion here in town. They have closed a facility in Ohio, and that work will be transferred here into the Berea market. And they also will be adding a 1,000 foot rail spur behind their building as well. So they do anticipate a lot more coming, and possibly another factory that they will be reconsolidating and reconstructing what will be going in the other two industries in the other states. Motor Wheel is, as Mayor Fraley mentioned in December, they are also restructuring their product lines and going to be doing a massive remodel renovation inside to accommodate a larger piece of what they're going to be doing while moving out the drum section of that. EQI also over in our industrial park is doing the 40,000 square foot building expansion. They will be adding in that 40,000 square foot a new robotic paint section, and they too have picked up 2 more accounts that are not Kentucky based. So they are getting shipments coming in here to Berea where they'll pick up the paint line as well and have more new accounts to accommodate the local person that they're working with for supply here. The new industrial park, we're excited to hear about that and can't wait to get all the kinks worked out so that we can move forward with that, because I think we already have a couple of nibbles that are waiting in line for more information on that, so that's really good. Middletown Middleworks, they did close their retail shop. That was at their choice on just not a good fit, not a necessary thing to have over there. But what they've done is picking up another contract with Lockheed, which will allow them to use that existing building for more welding and different components of work there. So that was a much better move for them than keeping the industrial retail side going. The last thing that I have for the industrial park is we have a really good group of HR managers at the industrial park. They're very aggressive. They are coming along and bonding really well and are really wanting to get more involved with the industrial park. And they will be doing what we're talking about a lot tonight was the trails. So around the industrial park on both sides, the U-shape and all, we already have sidewalks that have markers for how far you have walked. So we have found that that's really important for the industries that are over there, and they have decided that they will adopt a sidewalk in front of their industries. They will maintain the landscaping, the floral, and picking up the trash. How much better could we be than that, you know, to have somebody care that much about their frontage and so forth. So it's hard with, you know, our city maintenance, because we mow and we maintain a lot over there, but we cannot get off the moors and go pick up garbage bags or little things that become a paper cup that comes splattered all over the place. So this is really a nice thing and a very exciting thing, and we're going to work on trying to plant more in our bushes and shrubbery around our industrial park entrances to where we can get that more appealing as well. So I'll go. Mayor Fraley talks all the time, and I love it, about partnerships and collaboration. The importance of that, I think our numbers will show, is so critical. We spend a lot of time in meetings and what you talked about tonight, what are we getting from it, but what do we bring it back and do with it, you know? And I think we've done so many things with partners across the state of Kentucky, especially Central Kentucky, that have really been good information that we haven't had to reinvent the wheel on, and being able to still roll out things that we could do. Some of the partnerships and collaborations that we partnered with in 2024 that were really valuable to our city, in my personal opinion, were the Small Business Development Center out of Louisville. They were wonderful to work with. They helped me roll out 7 complimentary small business webinars for the community on free classes and so forth to help them in startup businesses with a retention plan and an expansion plan attached to the classes. So that was really a great thing to hear in our community, that we offer that. And if you talk or speak with several other cities around us, not everyone is out there trying to do that for the small business. So I think we're a step above that. Commerce Lexington, the economic development team there, we work closely with them all the time. Last summer we were able to create business development, a website link that we shared with Commerce Lexington and Bluegrass Alliance, where we link our industries, our inquiries, what we have available with them, and they also link back to us to where we can now both share information that way as well. Bluegrass Alliance, I think Katie participated in this, and Mayor and myself as well. We were privileged to go through 2 different simulation trainings last year on economic development, one through Kentucky League of Cities and then one through Bluegrass Alliance. Those were extremely helpful, and you really can see the questions that people, bigger companies, are looking at, what they want and what they don't want upon a visit, and what your assets, your true assets are or are not in their eyes. So there will be 2 more scheduled for this year, so we do look forward to attending those again, because every year it seems like we change. The Kentucky Association of Economic Development, through them I am able to keep my certifications going to where we're current and we're updated on all the latest trends and classes for that. The state cabinet itself, we were privileged to have them come multiple times just to talk about the different projects, funding projects that they have, they offer across the state. So our last one was very, very good. Miss Christine McNeil came from the Kentucky Innovation Project team and talked about grant funding for small business owners, and a wonderful piece on bank funding and how the banks were going to be allowed to work with the state on these programs to help the small business and new employee paid funding to help hire new employees. So it was all in all a great thing, and we'll see more of those. There's 2 more that will roll out this year to wrap up all the funding from the past that they're hanging on to. So we'll make sure that we get those out, and we do post some on the business development webpage. So everyone is invited. It's whether you're not a small business or not, you're always invited to participate in the classes. We did individual local businesses. We tried to partner with them in ways that we had a possible recruiting company that was here that was compatible with that person, that we may bring in outside people to hear and give feedback to these recruiters, companies that are looking to come here, and that worked very, very well. So we want to do a lot more of those this year as well. We have 1 more scheduled coming up in February, so I think it will be successful too. It's good to hear from our community. It's good to hear from the people that are looking at the same trade line that you're in to see and hear what is of value to them. and that you support them as a community. That's a big thing. We also will continue the Berea Industrial Park Human Resource Lunch and Learn series. We started that last year. We started with maybe 6 and we ended up with maybe 14 different industries in the industrial park that attend these 1-hour luncheons 1 time a month. And it is good because we bring in the state speakers that have the knowledge to help the industry in their situations over there, of what their needs might be, whether it's employees or anything else. So that too changes like the wind. We all see changes at the state level as well, but it's good to hear them come and talk about what is available and different things that they hear around the state that might help your industry, where it, you know, help someone else in Owensboro, for instance. So we enjoy those, and we are very pleased to carry on with that this year. We also partnered with the Kentucky Fair Chance Recovery Program through the state last year, which was successful for all of Madison County, not just Berea. We also work closely with our local state representatives and Congressman Barr's office. I know they come at the drop of a bucket. They are incredibly wonderful to work with, very supportive. We work with the Bluegrass Area Development District, which is awesome. Kentucky Career Centers and the Kentucky Workforce Innovation Board. They're all workforce driven with so much strength and power within them. You can always get a solution right away. So they're great contacts that make a difference in our community. The Being Good partnership takes belonging to good memberships. You can join just about anything you want to today, but again, what do you get out of it? What do you bring back that you can put into action? So I think we're very selective on what we do because we want everything to go to the right cause. But the memberships that were very valuable to us last year through business development was the Kentucky Economic Development Cabinet, the Bluegrass Alliance, Commerce Lexington, Kentucky League of Cities on our educational classes, the Kentucky League of Cities Advisory Council, the National Grocery Association, the Berea Chamber of Commerce, the Madison County International Committee Sister City Program. So those are all things that were really important in building and keeping our community strong. For 2025, the future partnerships that I have commitments on for this year, number 1 is Awesome Inc., which is a terrific company out of Lexington with Brian Rainey and his brother. Magistrate Tom Botkin came to see me in August, maybe last year, and Tom wanted to work on rolling out a coding class in our school systems here in Berea. So that took us a long time, but through Awesome Inc. and Berea Community School and hopefully small pieces of Berea College, we will be doing that this year, and very excited to add that to the curriculums. It is a great thing, and it's very popular, and EKU will be on board with us as well to work with that. They've already, through Awesome Inc., got theirs up and going last year, so it will be good for Berea as well. We will be partnering more with the Berea College Business Entrepreneur class that is ready to roll out this spring as well with the student participation. The Berea College Business Development Director, she and I will get back on monthly meetings to where we're conversing with what the college is doing, what can we partner with, what are we doing that they can partner with us. So I look forward to getting back on track with that. Ignite South, they're wonderful to work with. We all know that. We've witnessed it. We've seen it in the schools. But they are in agreement that they will continue to work with our industrial park as we hire people that may not be top-notch in that specific field. Then they will continue to work with the welding and the electrical work side of that with the factories during evening classes or possibly during the day, you know. So we appreciate that greatly. It's a great attribute to offer to the industrial park. Our small business classes, we will offer 8 this year throughout the community. There are, of course, complimentary classes. We again will partner up with EKU, Berea College professors, Small Business Development Center out of London, I believe. And Katie, hope it's okay to talk about. Miss Katie Poulette will be working with us on all of that to help our small business entrepreneurs as well. We will be working more closely with our community banks because they now are in a position to where things are not so tough, and hopefully with the rates coming back down and the freeze on that, things will get in a better position to where the small business owners can find funding that adapts to their businesses. So we look forward to that. And of course, we'll continue to work with local leaders. Nothing is better than having your own local business owners to teach a class for you. They've gone through the worst and the best, so they can share good insight either way with that. We will continue to host individual compatible business groups with our new possible recruiting companies that are seeking out Berea as well, because I think that is a great tool and it shows a lot of support that way. For 2025, my top recruitment focus will be on continuing to work with a lumber company and a retail store with that as well, the grocery store, family-style steakhouse, a new hotel. Employment recruitment for our industry is always going to be there because it's always going to be up and down with the trade changes and everything else that's coming. And also a corporate restaurant that's taken a little bit longer than we anticipated, but we do look forward to adding that one soon as well. So 2025, I'll close out with saying it was a good year. I think we grew really quickly, but we grew in good, steady pace to where we didn't harm anything, and we stayed within our infrastructure, and we stayed within our guidelines of growing a city appropriately. So I think it was all good. For 2025, every article you're going to be seeing coming out pretty quickly here is going to be talking about the corporate headquarters across the nation that are doing what we see a lot of right here in Berea right now. They're expanding their footprints and they're restructuring what they can do better here in this state versus that state based on taxes and other things that affect the cost of goods of what they're doing in their state. So as we see more and more coming, we're going to be looking at also more and more housing needs. So I think that is a good time. That's the target this year. I think Mayor Fraley and I were in something a week or so back, and housing is always going to be there, but it is top priority right now and so forth. And you may have seen on the news maybe a month ago, maybe not quite that long, but the city of Winchester has been very proactive in housing solutions. We're all trying to find ways that work for everybody. But I think one of the things that they did was their city council voted to bring in a modeled manufactured home and to show and display that, not to take away from a builder in any way, but it was to show another avenue, another source of a home at a lesser cost and at a faster speed than custom building a home for today. So I think in some of the articles that I'm seeing across the state, that's going to be true probably everywhere, to where we're going to see more options for housing at a faster pace and a much bigger need as well. So with that said, I will close out and I will take any questions you might have.
Questions or comments for Donna? Questions or comments for Donna?
Thank
All
you
right,
for
Donna,
your
they're letting
report,
you off the hook.
what you do.
Thank you. Thank you.
I agree. Donna, my conclusion is that the city of Berea is a great place to do business, and you're a big reason for that. So thank you for your efforts and for keeping us informed.
I'll say that Donna's so thorough, we don't have any questions left.
That's right. Thank you, Teresa.
I'll concur with that. That was a very good comprehensive report to get us off on the right foot for 2025. I did notice one of the businesses that you'd mentioned, Burt's Speak Cheesy, is supposed to be moving at the end of the month to the College Square.
Thank you, John. Would any other department heads like to address the council? I don't see any hands up. Charlie, you said us. Don't do that in an auction. You'll buy it. All right, seeing none, we'll move forward to public comment. Would any members of the public like to address the council? Seeing none, we'll move forward to the city administrator's report. Rose.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's good to see you guys tonight, council members, and it will be my last report here as your city administrator. So that being said, before I get into my report, I just want to say again, thank you so much. I'm so grateful to have been able to work with all of you, and obviously the amazing staff we have here, the hospitality that I have received in the last 3 years from them and from all of you and from the community members. I'm very grateful to have been a part of Team Berea, and so as my last report, I'll jump into it. We have an overage request for the first item on my report. This is a new line item, as we have the alcohol fee now, the regulatory fee, and so we have to spend that money that's coming in, and so we had to create a new line. Now, this is just an overage request. That line will be amended in the amended budget because we didn't have it. So we would like to ask to go over for $20,000 in line item 010-2005-55134. It's called alcohol abatement. And this is for the purchase of PBTs, preliminary breath tests, and business cards for officers. So we will have to use that money, as you know, for specific things related to the expense created by regulating the cost of alcohol to our community. So if somebody, there was zero budgeted because we didn't have this line. So if somebody would like to make a motion for that, I would greatly appreciate it.
So moved.
Motion by Steve Cottle. Is there a second?
Second.
Ronnie Terrell. Any discussion on the motion for the overage 20,000 on line item 010-2005-55134? Any discussion? Steve?
Just as a clarifying point, this has offsetting revenue, right?
Right. We are, if I remember right, and I probably should have looked that up for this, but I think we were at like 165,000 that we've brought in so far from the regulatory fees. Some of that in there actually is from before because we've been spending it as we go, and we did have some fees from before.
Yeah, I just wanted to make that clear that these are funds that we have taken in due to the alcohol licenses, etc., and you have to use it for very specific purposes.
Very
which is
specific.
why we're making a new line.
Exactly. That's correct. Thank you. Good clarification.
Further discussion on the motion? Seeing none, I'll request a voice vote. All in favor of the motion to approve the overage, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say no. The motion carries. Rose?
Thank you. So I have some reporting from the utilities. We are happy to report that the winter storm resulted in minimal impact on the electric system. I'm sure that you would have known if there was more to it. We had outages in the areas of Lorraine Court, Fairway Drive, Bobolink, Meadowlark, and at the end of our system near the 76 exit. At the peak of outages, there was approximately 50 customers without service. So that's pretty good, I would say, for going through what we went through, and that is a testament to all the work that they do. You can't always control it, but the tree trimming and things like that you see they're spending a lot of money on, that is really to help prevent this type of thing from impacting us greatly. So good job to them and to Kevin for their work on making sure that our system is sound. They do a great job. BMU would also like to request customers to be cognizant of the extreme cold weather over the next few days. We have been asked to make efforts to shave electrical usage from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Wednesday and Thursday morning. This helps lower the risk of overload on the transmission system that feeds Berea, and also will help save customers on their monthly bill. We have posted some energy saving tips for customers on Facebook. I'll make sure that those get shared, and if any of the council members want to share them or any of the department heads as well, that would be great. So just be aware of that. And then finally, from utilities, They're reporting that in the recent few weeks of precipitation, the lake levels are drastically improving. Owsley is currently down 4 feet below normal, and Cowbell and Bee Lake are each down 1.5 feet below normal capacity. This gives us a current supply of 215 days at current usage levels. This is the first time we have reached the 200 plus day threshold since late July. So it's great news. When all lakes are at full capacity, we have approximately 290 days of supply depending on the daily demand. So that hasn't been fun to deal with, but it has certainly helped our water supply. So that's the bright side of the storm for sure. Speaking of the storm, I just want to highlight the fact, and I'm sure that you guys all will too, so I don't want to take the light away from that, from what you guys are going to say, but I just want to say Public Works, so grateful for the work that they did to keep our streets safe. We don't always hear a lot of compliments from the public. Typically we hear when there's an issue, and that's normal, but we did hear a lot of compliments, a lot of good reviews on Facebook to us, and people saying thank you. And you know, they work hard, they're very professional at what they do, and they go out with a good plan. They know what they're doing, and we're grateful to have such good people that care so greatly about the community, and it shows in their work. So just want to put a good shout out to them. As I was at home warm in my house, they were on the icy roads with those big old trucks, making sure they were safe for us to drive on. So grateful for them. And the last thing I want to talk about is the amended budget. As you know, we're coming up on that. I always like to kind of give you guys a heads up on some things that I see coming up. At this point, the amended budget looks really clean. We're not adding a lot to it. We'll be adding some expenses, but they come with revenues, such as the Ferristown project. That'll be an expense, but we're getting a grant, so that will be evened out. I've looked at some of the things that the department heads are proposing. What I've seen a lot so far is they're proposing a change in a line item, but they're lowering a different line item to add that change. So we have great staff that are really careful with their money, and it just makes my heart big, because we're using public funds, and you can tell they actually really care about that. So I'm grateful for that, and I just want you to know the amended budget coming up, I won't be here for that process, but what I've seen at this point is minimal. And the things that are in there are things that you can't control, like if our insurance rates went up or things like that. Sometimes we don't know until after we make the budget. So that is all that I have, and I'd be happy to take any questions.
Questions or comments for Rose?
No question, but just best of luck, Rose. I know you're going to be very successful wherever you land.
Thank you. I'm gonna miss you guys, so appreciate that.
Other questions or comments? Cora Jane?
Yeah, thanks, Rose. I remember the day of your interview, so I know wherever you're going in Texas, you'll do great.
Thank you.
Eat some Mexican food for me.
That will be an upside for sure. Awesome. Thank you.
Other
Thank you
questions
very
or
much.
Comments for Rose? John?
I just got back, and I'm gonna miss you.
Yeah, I'll miss you too. It was great to work with you when we had the chance to work together, and I know that you guys will do a great job. A lot of good things coming for Berea. A lot of good work been put down by all the council members and the mayor and the staff, so it's exciting.
Other questions or comments for Rose? All right, seeing none, thank you, Rose. Great report. I will add on to Rose's report with Mayor's comments to begin with the snow event. And I'll have to say that I probably had more compliments from the public, from individual citizens and business, on how quickly and efficiently the roads were cleared with plowing and treatment with salt and whatnot. And again, it really shows the dedication of our public works team. They were at the ready on Sunday night, worked through the night, different shifts, and Roy was right there with them. I caught him buying hot dogs and chili sauce for the guys that were out to make sure they had something to eat. So really, I would have to say that probably our roads were in better shape than I could have ever dreamed of, considering the type of weather we got with the ice. So hats off to them. And I also know that it is a total team effort anytime we have a snow event or an emergency. And just want to give a little shout out to our police department. The police is there, calling Roy when they see a slick spot, or calling in different trouble places and making sure they communicate. Our first responders, our fire as well, they're always right there and at the ready. We always have motorist assists and issues that come up. We have more wrecks at that time, so there's always more activity with our first responders. And also our utilities. They mentioned that the linemen had to be out in the weather and got things put back in order in pretty short order. I think one said that power went out and 2 hours later it's back on. So that's a real testament to our people. But don't forget about the unsung heroes too. Wastewater treatment operators, water treatment plant operators, they're essential personnel and they got to be there regardless of what the weather is. So I know that our public works staff and our first responders would want to acknowledge them as well. And also the people that work behind the scene, Rose and Sean, there are decisions that have to be made, and they're going through that process all the time as well. So thanks to the leadership as well. But again, it shows a total team effort and the quality and care of our staff, and I'm grateful for their service to the citizens. I'll add as well to some of the council comments for Rose's last meeting. That's hard to believe this is your last meeting, but I want to thank you personally, Rose, for everything that you've done for the city. I think without a doubt that a lot of the things that you brought will have a lasting effect. I could cite a dozen examples, but some would be the capital improvement plan, some would be the pay and performance plans that you put together, things like that, where you brought a unique perspective of a professional city administrator, having that experience. And I'm very grateful for everything that you did for the city, for us as elected officials, and for the staff. I think that your legacy will live on, and we're always going to be Rose fans. So remember us guys when you make it to the top. So remember us guys that helped you along the way. So thank you again, Rose. I do want to acknowledge your service, and like John, I'll miss you. All right, that concludes my comments, and the next thing we have on the agenda is council comments, and I'll begin with Mr. Steve Davis.
So I didn't get the last word this time, huh?
You'll get that eventually.
Every other time, maybe. I just want to thank the council for the work session we had, the ideas that were presented on the committees by Jerry, and the transparency and citizen engagement improvement ideas that Katie brought forward. I thought the conversations were good and cooperative and productive, and I appreciate that. I also want to echo what Rose and Mayor said about the public works and the first responders. I mean, I've heard nothing but wonderful things. Facebook's been lit up with great and wonderful comments, and that's not always the case. And it was just good to read all the positivity about how well things were taken care of. And I'm sure a lot of us take it for granted that those things are going to be done, and I really appreciate it as I got out and was able to get out very easily. So I want to thank Donna for her report, so thorough, and all the work you do. We really appreciate it. And last, I only got to do one time with Rose here, council, but I've gotten to know her all this past year. When I was running for council, I asked her 1,000 questions, and she was always wonderful to work with as I was trying to get my feet wet on what I was going to attempt to do. And I just appreciate her. I appreciate the opportunity to get to know her as a person, and for the few days that I've been on council, and for the job she's done for the city. I really appreciate that. And I have a special crying towel for Ronnie out in the car, because I know he'll miss Rose.
Thank you, Steve. Next, we'll move to John Payne. John.
I will concur with your statements and Steve's statements on our public workers and thanking them, making sure that we got through our first snowpocalypse of the year as smoothly as we have. I do want to thank the Wyatts again. I mean, you guys have made generational investments in recreation in our community, and that's something not to be discounted. So we thank you for that.
Thank you, John. Katie Startzman. Katie.
Thanks. Donna, it's really exciting to hear all the collaborations and projects that you're going to be engaged in and trying to grow the economic development for our city, so thank you for that thorough report. Rose, really grateful for your tenure with us and your leadership and visioning and helping us really do some impactful things for the city. Thank you. And John and Steve, I'm excited to get to work with you both. Thank you.
Thank you, Katie. Next, we'll move to Teresa Centers. Teresa.
Oh, my. Yes, welcome, Steve, and welcome back, John, and welcome back, Katie. Thank you. Anyway, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get off like that, but I did appreciate Donna's report as well, and everybody has glowed about all the city workers, as they should. We should be so proud of them. I'm also proud of the county and even the state. This has been, maybe that is due in part to all the hyped up pre-publicity the thing got on TV. Maybe people were ready, but I'm so grateful that you were ready, and it has been a fabulous job. Everything's been great. My lights only flickered one teeny tiny time, but George and Doris, I think probably I'm right if I say that you all have the oldest continuously owned family business in town. I can only think of one other business, period, that's older, and of course that's the Citizen, and it is not continuously owned. But is that accurate? Good. Well, if it's not accurate, somebody call me out on it and let us know. That's remarkable, and just keep right on skating, guys.
Thank you, Teresa. Next, we'll move to Ronnie Terrell. Ronnie.
Well, I want to really thank the utilities. I mean, they kept the lights on, and they're always there, but we don't hear much about them unless the electric's off, and the water too. I mean, because I'm sure we had water problems, and I also want to say that I'm going to miss Rose because she learned me what no meant, and in a harsh way, and I can't forget it. But I learned how to block her on my phone a few times. But I'm really gonna miss. Thank you. I appreciate it. I do what? You're taking up my time. Do you mind? But we all are going to miss you, Rose. So that's all.
Thank you, Ronnie. Next, we'll move to Cora Wilson.
Okay, I'm gonna try to get this. First of all, welcome, Steve. Hope you enjoy it. John, welcome back. I want to say welcome back, Cotter, but everybody don't understand that. Utilities. I'm not on your service anymore, but thank you, because I've heard a lot of good comments and from some that were off, and how fast it was and back on, and how appreciative they were. So I appreciate what you all do, because I've seen the water crew out when I was still working, when it was freezing cold and the water main burst. And let me tell you, I wouldn't want their job. I like being in the office. Public Works, I'm good. Thank you all. The streets were great. My hill was, I have a hill going up and a hill going down, but it was great. Thank you. The main roads, everybody's been bragging on them, everyone. So thank you all for such a job well done. And I'm kind of like Teresa, the county did a fabulous job. And the state, I rode to the farm with Terry, and it was good. So that's a big compliment. Donna, thank you for such a detailed report. We don't have to ask questions because you answer them as you go. So it's not that we don't care. You've already answered them, except you haven't told us who's coming. So I'll bug her about that. Nah. George and Doris, I saved you all for last. I probably started going there when they opened. Probably about 100%. About one, no. Was probably 4 years old, to be honest. And my dad was back skating. He went Wednesday night, family night. Am I correct? Used to be family night. We went all the time. I lived 2 blocks from the skating rink. That was my second home. I was in a lot better shape then. But my dad went on his birthday because he took us all skating. My dad was the skater. He went back on his 90th birthday and skated. Still can skate. Scared us all, but still can skate. But thank you all. Thank you for a place that I grew up in. That's how I feel. That was home, my second home, that and the Berea Theater. But thank you all for being there for the youth and them having something to do. And folks, if you haven't tried it, go try skating. I still have my skates and my membership card. Thank you all. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Cora Jane. Next is Steve Collins.
I feel like I'm going to repeat a lot at this point. I'll try not to, but thank you to the Wyatts, not just for the continuous presence of your business in our community. I mean, that's obviously a huge accomplishment, but your participation in this community. I mean, there's very few things that happen that you all haven't been involved in or part of in this community, and that's always been evident since I've been kind of old enough to notice. And so thank you all for your continued support of the city of Berea. Road crews, utilities, fantastic job. Utilities, I really think when things like this happen, it always makes me think of what an exceptional job the utilities have done of managing and planning over the years and putting in that maintenance work when it's not snowing outside and when it's not icing, so that when limbs fall, they're not falling in those spans because we've cleaned them up already. So kudos to that great work. And I would be remiss if I don't tell Rose how much I've thoroughly enjoyed working with you. I think as we look back on the history of our city, we've only had a few city administrators, and each one has had a different lasting impact, I think, on our city. And I really think that you came into Berea at an extremely pivotal time as we were coming out of COVID. Things were still a little uncertain. There were a lot of really big decisions that were having to be made. The end of CSEP, we've talked about that for decades, but nobody ever really did anything about it. I mean, it was kind of like we knew it was coming, and it was this train that was down the tracks, and we just never got out of the way. And you worked through that and led the city through that process with our emergency management and others. And so I think that the work you've done here will continue to impact our city, even if no one actually realizes that work went into it. And I don't say that in a negative way. It's just there's so much that people have no idea that you've done over the last several years. And I would say that your job is one that touches more lives in this city than probably anyone else's, that maybe no one ever really even knows how much work you've put into that. And so I think as I think about your tenure here, the thing that I will remember the most is that you advocated for your employees at every juncture, and you were always the biggest cheerleader and the biggest advocate. And I really think that the work that you've put in those categories will continue to positively impact our employees from now on. And I really think you brought fresh eyes, and I appreciate all that you have done for this city. And I really appreciate, from a personal level, the conversations and the time spent and the work put in. And I always enjoyed conversations that we had and worked through problems of the city. And so thank you very much for what you've done for the city of Berea. We will all miss you greatly. Ronnie, again, will continue to cry, but you will have just as much impact on the city that you go to, and they are very lucky to have you.
Thank you, Steve. Last but not least, Jerry Little.
Well, there ain't too much more can be said. I'll repeat 2 or 3 things. First thing about George and Doris, you know, your 65 years of family business is just something that ain't cured of anymore. You've got a good, clean business, never have no trouble. It's just a great business for Berea. I just want to thank you all from my heart. The electric crew and public works, we've done a good job through this, and everybody's done good. And I want to welcome Steve and John. Welcome to us. And I just want to hope Rose the best. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Jerry. That brings us to the end of our agenda. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
By Steve Cottle with a second by John Payne. All in favor of the motion to adjourn, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say no. The meeting is adjourned.